So I will admit up front I haven't seen Dune Part 2 yet. I will watch it eventually. I like the first part quite a bit, but I'm probably going to wait until it's on HBO Max, or what we call Max now. But I found these two articles to be kind of interesting because they offer up completely different views of what is apparently happening in that movie. Two completely different angles. One saying it's NeoPagan, another one saying it's an Ayn Randian style libertarian Odyssey. So I also have to watch it to find out for sure. But I just find it must be a quality artistic film that's not too on the nose with its messaging. If people are coming to two completely different worldviews, this guy is saying the movie's success reflects how the West has entered an era of neo-paganism and Christianity has been replaced with incoherent philosophies. So, a month after it was released and became the top grossing movie of the year, it's fair to declare Dune Part 2 a box office success. That said, it has to be one of the most unusual blockbusters to come out in a long time. The novels may be well known, but they're not exactly tailor-made for popular consumption. Nor does Denis Villeneuve's, I don't know how to say his name, adaptation do much to make it more accessible. His movies are ponderous, slow, and extremely serious. The characters are less human beings with personalities and more Jungian archetypes fulfilling their predestined role in an indifferent cosmos. Well, I don't know. That makes it sound interesting. True, the movie is visually stunning and the action sequences are superbly choreographed, but these scenes mainly serve to punctuate several long stretches of literal and metaphorical desert. This tends to make the experience of both watching Dune movies a more meditative and reflective endeavor than an engaging or fun one. I enjoyed the first one. I thought the first one was good. It ended abruptly, but otherwise it was good. So why is Dune Part 2 so popular? I believe it's because it's presenting a compelling vision of the distant future that touches on some unseen current realities. Something about it clearly resonates with audiences. Behind the endless sand, royal houses, mineral extraction, bulbous spaceships, and colossal sandstorms, the saga details the rise of Paul Atreides and indigenous Fremen speaks to today's audiences. Even though the movie critic Titus Tekera makes a good case that Dune Part 2 essentially adopts a leftist narrative in which a liberal atheist man child harnesses the power of colonized fundamentalists to overcome exploitative fascists and liberate the benighted natives, political scholar Cody Cooper comes nearer to the truth when he argues that Dune appeals to viewers with a few key conservative religious themes. Another comparison that comes to mind is more remarkable how conservative in many of the best senses of the term the film is. He explains how the movie devotes attention to the dignity of life, the prominent role of faith and culture, and the danger of political messianism. However, I think a lot of this, I mean, my understanding is a lot of the movie focuses around not tying politics to religion, which would be more Ayn Randian than conservative, since Ayn Rand believed that religion forced altruism on people. Who could have predicted that Ayn Rand's individualist ethos would underpin one of the most hotly anticipated Hollywood films of 2024? Power, politics, and faith are just a few of the many complex themes that writhe through director Denis Villeneuve's ambitious and sweeping adaptation of Frank Herbert's 1965 science fiction epic Dune. Against the desert backdrop of the arid and barren landscapes, blah, 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 leadership and divided, the indigenous tribe of sand dwellers remain scattered throughout the uninhabitable outskirts of Arrakis. Although their planet is a fertile ground for a spice melange, the universe's most coveted commodity, the Fremen are split into disparate tribes with competing dogmas. As a result, they have been unable to unite under a common banner and mount a significant resistance against the technologically advanced and heavily armed Harkonnen colonizers. In one scene, Zendaya highlights the cultural differences to Paul. Your blood comes from dukes and great houses here. Everyone is equal. Though they share a common destitution, the Fremen remain divided over a prophecy that hails Paul as a unifying Messiah. Yeah. Portraying local leaders, ardently believes in Paul's divinity, serving as a tastefully employed source of comedic relief. The story of Dune skillfully explores the notion of false prophets and blind worship, suggesting that the Fremen's unwavering devotion to a creed which they believed would liberate them ironically becomes their source of oppression. Frank Hebert, having worked briefly as a speechwriter for a Republican senator, subtly weaves political undertones into his narrative, encompassing everything from environmentalism to colonialism and class struggle. Dune juggles a bevy of salient themes. Hebert, a libertarian, supposedly, he might be, he's certainly anti authoritarian, harbored an ardent distaste for centralized power, whether religious or governmental. Power attracts pathological personalities, he wrote in one of his later novels as a scathing critique of the USSR. So, yeah, it's interesting, you know, the way they discuss religion and sci fi and bring it into one singular film. So, sounds like it's up there with Star Trek The Expanse and Blade Runner as some of the better sci-fi movies that have come out over, the past few decades. All right.